Hello, happiness abounders, and welcome back. Today we are diving into the next form of our self-care series, which is all about intellectual self-care, mental self-care. So that said, let's dive right in. So today I really want to talk about the ability to focus on learning and growing, which for some of us is easier said than done, and for others of us it's pretty easy. But here's the big difference. I think that no matter where we are at in our life, from like the age of 15 on, nobody really likes to be seen as a beginner. Nobody really likes to feel like they're starting over. And that's one of the key components of intellectual self-care, is this ability for us to embrace starting over and learning and trying something new. The ability to be able to focus on what we're learning and how we're growing as opposed to what it may look like on the outside. And I think that intellectual self-care is one of the least embodied or embraced of the 5 self-care areas because of this. Because no one likes to feel like a beginner. And you see these quotes online like the greatest masters had to start somewhere, like they were a beginner at one point. And sure, those can be inspiring and motivating, but do we actually take it to heart when it comes down to us trying something new? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I think it can also depend on the something new that we're trying. If it's something that can be a little goofy and you're like, yeah, like nobody is good at this at the start, or if it's something there's a lot of experts and masters in, and here we are starting in it, that can be something that really holds us back. And I think that's what intellectual self-care is truly about, if I can be so bold. It's about starting. It's about getting out of your own mind and moving forward in something new. It's about pushing yourself so that you don't stay stagnant. We've spoken about emotional self-care, and we have definite needs for that. Physical self-care, definite needs for that. Social self-care, absolutely. But intellectual self-care is one of those that no one really talks about because no one really wants to feel like a beginner. No one is focusing on how we should be learning and growing, and that in itself is a way of taking care of ourselves. Now, I'm not saying go back to school. That's totally your prerogative and up to you. But are you learning something new? Or are you just consuming information? And I say that because I see articles and information and podcasts and all of these things online, and it's like, yes, I want to consume this, but am I actually moving forward on it? Am I focusing on what I have learned and how I'm growing? There's this fine balance of I don't want to be a beginner, so I'm going to do a whole bunch of research. And then I'm overwhelmed and I don't start. I don't want to be seen as a beginner. Now there's all this other information that makes it feel like I'll never be an expert. I'm just not going to start. And then we hinder and squash this form of self-care in our lives. So the way to get around that is to be okay with being a beginner. And the way to do that is to focus, again, on what you are learning and how you are growing. The beauty of life, in my opinion, is that we can learn and grow every single day, every hour, every minute. So if we hold on to this thought that I don't want to be seen as a beginner, then we really can't hold on to anything in our lives because each day is a new beginning. Each conversation is a new beginning. So frankly, we're beginners all the time. So as a form of intellectual self-care, we need to be able to get ourselves in a space where we are okay with and able to identify and see what we have learned and how we have grown. And if you can start to turn your mindset in that direction, the opportunities for intellectual self-care continue on and on and on, and allow you to really focus on the full aspects and components of this self-care category. So as we move through the rest of the week, we'll be talking about journaling about what you have learned, talking about meditation as a way to focus the mind as this form of intellectual self-care, crafting a positive mindset through gratitude, and learning and trying new things, the novelty that we need in our lives so we don't feel stagnant. But all of that starts and begins with the concept and idea that we are here to learn and to grow. We are a beginner every second of every day because every second is a new beginning. Every minute is a new beginning. And that means we have the opportunity to take care of ourselves all the time and intellectually challenge and stimulate ourselves so that we can progress and grow and become those next versions. So one of the things I mentioned is that I would listen to podcasts and read a lot of articles and really internalize that before taking any steps. So today I want to challenge you to do something as a beginner. Whether that's starting a conversation with somebody new in the elevator for just 15 seconds or doing something you haven't ever done before. It doesn't have to be anything big and massive, but just pay attention to some time in your day where you kind of felt like you were a beginner, and then identify what you learned from that and how you grew. So that's the challenge for today, the challenge really for this week, and I hope that this episode has resonated with you. One thing I want to bring up is, as a form of intellectual self-care that is that ongoing education, challenging yourself to try something new. So I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to check out happinessabound.com, and in the top nav I have a section called courses. If you go there, I have a few online courses that are accompanied with a 18 to 20 page resource guide and at least an hour to an hour and a half of video footage of me teaching a class on those topics. Those topics include declaration success, vision board training, gratitude and journaling for happiness, and then emotional management for happiness. So if you want to take your intellectual and social self-care to the next level, go ahead and check that out and sign up for any upcoming classes or get the online versions today. So that said, I hope that this episode resonated with you. I hope you'll go check out the site. I really hope you will take up on the challenge. Take me up on this challenge and look for those opportunities of trying something new, being a beginner, and identifying how you've grown and what you have learned. So all of that said, have a wonderful day, and remember, you are capable of happiness abound.